Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful evening with us on Live with Lloyd. I am your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. This has been a very interesting day, but it is Monday and is also a special day of celebration. For those of Mexican heritage, today is Cinco de Mayo, as you may know, or I'm sure you've heard of it. And what it is, it's actually a celebration of the culture and the heritage of the Mexican people. But what is interesting, Cinco de Mayo, if people understood the history, but before I get into that, let me say this. I'll bring on my sponsors right away. I'm jumping into this. But anyway, my our major sponsor is U Juice by Levitt. Go to Levitt Store, LIVETSTORE.com to order your juices. If you order today, Monday, probably by Saturday, it'll be nicely chilling in your refrigerator. Also, Nicholas Brooklyn celebrating over 50 years in business. They're at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn. Also, Miss Kimberly, Manifest on Purpose. She does a podcast each week. Also, she's now doing business astronumerology for businesses. She gets free consultations, so reach out to there. Also, Numerologics with Queen Bee, and she has a very community-oriented TV show and whatnot, really raising consciousness, and I thank her very much. Also, last but not least, Jazz Aphrodite, her institute starts tomorrow, mañana, okay? And it's going to be from 7 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday, 6 weeks. So it's going to be something very, very interesting. So before I get started, let me introduce the forecast for today. It is Monday, up May the 5th. The sun is in Taurus. The moon was in Leo earlier today, but at 3:40 this afternoon, it went into the sign of Virgo, which is where it is right this moment. It's a 5 universal month, a 6 universal week, a 1 universal day. And for those who are under the signs of, and I stand corrected because it should be Leo, Aquarius, and Aries, but I do have the dates right, the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, 19th, 22nd, 28th, and 31st of the month. But in a way, it's interesting because today is the 5th, and it does favor Geminis and Virgos, but numerically, looking at the numbers of the month, the day, and the year, the total of the universal day, it does favor Leo. So, hey, it's a win-win situation. You know, it's very interesting. It's interesting. The day did not go the way, and it happens sometimes. Okay, so even the Lloyd Strayhorn, it did not go the way at all. But I had some saving graces at some point, and I think probably, hopefully, it'll be resolved shortly. But nonetheless, there was a conversation that came up about today being Cinco de Mayo, and what does it mean? Well, first of all, if you look at today, May the 5th of 2025, it's got 3 5s in it. But let me tell you what's interesting about Cinco de Mayo. Believe it or not, it is to commemorate the Mexican army's victory over the French soldiers back on May the 5th of 1862. Because what was happening at that time, France, under General Napoleon III, was wanted to purchase, actually get a part of Mexico, which is Puebla, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Puebla, and make it a satellite state of France. But there was this general, and let me tell you this general was, well, here's what I want to do so you understand that, yes, this is a day of celebration, but understanding the history, I think, will add more to its importance, because it was this general, this young general, Ignacio Zaragora. And I tried to do this name several times, but I tell you this, he was an Aries, born on March the 24th of 1862. And let me say his name again, Ignacio Zaragoza, out of respect to him. And what happens is, when the army, Napoleon's army went against him, they only had 371 soldiers from Mexico. And they were referred to, if you read in the book, they were ragtag, which means they didn't have all of the kind of like latest battle equipment, whatever the case is, where with the French soldiers from Napoleon III's army, they were well equipped with over 5,730 soldiers. Well, on that day, the Battle of Puebla, as it's called, do you know in that one day, the Mexican armies overfought them? And in fact, they only lost 96 men out of 3,000 Mexican soldiers. Actually, in round figures, 3,700 Mexican soldiers. They only lost 96. As for the French army, they lost about 1,000 casualties on that day. So this gentleman you see here is he is a celebration, and his name again is Ignacio, Zaragoza. And the more I say his name, I get it, but for those of Mexican descent, please say his name with pride. And so when you understand and have this celebration, they can thank this gentleman. And the sad part about it is he passed away on September the 8th of 1962 at 33 years old, a young guy. Where? From typhoid fever. But in Mexico now, they have a highway named after him. They have a street named after him. They have a subway station named after him too. So when you hear the name Zaragoza, you know that this was a general that turned everything around, because had he not won on that day of May the 5th of 1862, that part of Puebla, Mexico may have been a part of France to this day. All righty. So I just wanted to get that and acknowledge them for this day, for their culture and heritage of the Mexican heritage. All righty. So now next is, oh, by the way, and this was a statue in his honor. And in fact, they moved his body to the location of where the battle was won. But this is an honor to him. And if so, just go to Wikipedia and see it has a very, very interesting history. And in fact, ever since then, no soldier of Mexican descent has ever won that kind of favor or been that successful until he came along. But he was an Aries, so what can you expect? And he was a 6, which is a man of principle. Okay, next, I said I wanted to bring up these two gentlemen. They have been in the news lately. They are Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. Evidently, there is a new movie out, this kind of like the talk of the town at this moment. But I do want to say this. They have a lot more in common astrologically, because first of all, now go back interspersed with them. First of all, both of them are air signs. Both of them are air signs where they represent human figures. There are only 3 out of 12 signs in the zodiac. Only 3 come in a human form. Virgo the Virgin, Gemini the Twins, and Aquarius the Water Bearer. They've now defined that water bearer coming out of the urn as electrical waves that are going through. So they've updated it to the 21st century, so to speak. So what does both of these gentlemen have in common? They are both air signs. Not only that, but in the air trilogy of Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, these are the 2 tightest amongst them, which is Aquarius and also Gemini. What is also interesting, they've also collaborated on 5 films together. One was back in 2013, Fruitvale Station with Michael B. Jordan. The next was Creed, which was in 2015 with Michael B. Jordan. Then the next one was, of course, Black Panther. That was in 2018 with Michael B. Jordan. Then also Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That was also in 2022, in fact, with Michael B. Jordan. And finally, the one that has come out last month, called Sinners with Michael B. Jordan. Now, what is interesting to me is this, that I'm going to put up their names so you can take a look at them. And by the way, I got to give credit to Jazz Aphrodite. Her presentation on Shannon Sharpe, I don't know whether you saw it last week. Y'all need to go back and take a look at that, how she broke it down, because there was controversy about the age range and this, that, and the other. Well, she broke that down with numerical accuracy that was on point. I mean, busy as I was, I took a moment to listen to that assessment. And I just said to myself, if Shannon and other people consulted the Jazz Aphrodites that does this very well, perhaps not only would he save himself a lot of embarrassment publicly, he'd also saved himself a lot of money. Because why? First of all, it happened in the sign of Aries. Well, he's a Cancer, June of 26. Well, one of the opposition periods to the sign of Cancer, like the United States, is the sign of Aries that we just left only weeks ago. So had he known that, had he been properly advised to that, maybe he'd have played his cards a little different. So what we do have tremendous insight and things of that nature, okay? And then she also talked about that Wednesday, the 47th president of the United States, and some of the things that's going on in his chart too. But I did want to thank, and I should have did that at the top of the show. But again, today did not go the way I planned to go, but it happens, all righty? So anyway, let me look at this. I broke down the names of these two gentlemen in film. So if you look at Michael B. Jordan's name, it's very interesting because he has the master number 22 in his first name, Michael. Okay, then he added B. There is a Michael Jordan who is a basketball player. Both of them were born in the sign of Aquarius. Michael Jordan, the athlete, is born on February the 17th, where Michael B. Jordan is born on the 9th of February. So what I did was I analyzed the name of this individual. If you look, the name Michael is a 22, B's, that's the initial, is a 2, and Jordan is 20. So if you add 4 plus 2 plus 4, that's 10, which is called the Wheel of Fortune, and ones whose plans are likely to be carried out. So then, if you look at his birthday, he is a air sign with a fire number. Now, fire and air stimulate each other, okay? And if you look how I did his birthday there, it's when I added across, I added to 1998. So not only is he born on the 9th day of the month, his month, day, and year adds up to a 27, which is a 9. So then if I looked at the director of Sinners, Ryan Coogler, his name is a 9, which is very interesting because it's the name that draws the people to them. And I understand they've been having a wonderful relationship for well over, at least 10 years. No, it's over 10 years because it's been 12 years because the first one they did together was in 2013. So that was 12 years ago. So if you notice, though, if you look at Coogler's name, he's got a lot of 3s in his name, which is creativity. Even his total of his name adds up to a 3, which is a number of creativity. But if you took his birthday, he is an air sign with an air number. But in fact, one of the luckiest days to be born on is the 23rd day of the month, which he is. In other words, that's the birth date that whoever's born on that date in this viewership or anybody you might know, normally they are always blessed to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. That's how he may have met his wife, ZZ. ZZ, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, or got into the film business and whatever. And I understand he worked out a deal that is really phenomenal for directors, that after 20 years, he will own all the rights to his movie. But if you notice, the destiny numbers, which is the month, the day, and the year for Michael B. Jordan, it's a 9. For Ryan Coogler, it's a 7. These are the only 2 numbers that are found on what is called the intuitive or spiritual plane, okay? One represents spiritual endings, one represents spiritual, one represents physical, but they're only 2 numbers that are found on the intuitive or spiritual plane. So this may explain the tremendous synergy between these 2 distinguished gentlemen here, Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler, okay? By the way, what's interesting is this, that the premiere of Sinners came out in April, because see, each number rules a month, right? The number 9 rules the month of April, and it came out on April the 18th, from what I understand. And if so, 1 plus 8 is 9. So it's just interesting. And so since this is the year of the 9, and Michael B. Jordan is born on the 9th. And by the way, if you look at his personal year, he's not in a 2 personal year. He's in a master number 11 personal year, which takes that to a whole nother thing. So I'm going to say that if in the Academy Awards, whenever it is later this year, early next year, however they do it, I would not be surprised if his name doesn't come out for being best actor, whatever the case is. And not only that, from what I understand, the movie has twins. And in fact, if you go to YouTube, they got tons of stuff, the symbology of the movie, this, that, and the other. So, it'll all be up to you. But anyway, congratulations to Ryan Coogler and to Michael B. Jordan. And being from one Aquarius to another, I wish him nothing but success. But let me tell you this, regardless of anyone's sign who is doing well, I want to always wish you success. That is the whole gist of it and stuff like that. All right, now I'm going to go to the comments. And today, one of the things is, as one viewer asked me, okay, I talked about the numbers, but they wanted to know about the stress numbers. So I think what I'm going to do is go and look at your birthday. I'm going to tell you what your numbers are, because as I've often said in lectures, people always ask me, what are my lucky numbers? You see that here when you're giving your birthday, but very rarely do people say, what numbers give me some stress? Okay. Today was stress. Listen, I did the best I could. What was today's date anyway? Anyway, I'll look at that later. But the point is that just as we have numbers that are very favorable for us, we have numbers that kind of not work against in our best interest. And once you know that, it makes all the difference in the world, because everybody knows the saying, well, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. The key is about being in the right place at the right time in harmony with the universe. So I'm going to tell you what your numbers are, but for those who want to know, I'm going to tell you what numbers stress you. And that will be for everybody that I will be talking to. So let me go here. I'm going to go back to the beginning. And by the way, I do thank all of you very, very much, much appreciated for those who support this platform. Yes, I do talk about numerology all the time, but I talk about other things too, but I kind of want to keep it well-rounded. And so let me go all the way back. All right, and here we go. Melanated 8, as always, that's first person in the room as a rule. And this is fire. Thank you very much. And as Jazz Aphrodite says, please get your likes up. They're absolutely free. You don't have to pay no money, okay? All you gotta do is put your thumb wherever it's required and do that, all righty? So, so Queen D, good evening to you as well, and Mariah Harris, and Alchemy Empress. Okay, and Queen D, thank you very, very much. So when you give me your numbers, your birthday, I'm going to tell you what your numbers are, and I'm going to tell you what numbers kind of challenge you, because each number rules a day, a date, a month, a year, and an age. And I'll give you an example once we find somebody here. Shakira, thank you very much. Thank all of you. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to get to some birthdays soon, but I'm just trying to give everybody their props. Shawan West, she's a numerologist, and she has a way of looking at words that I've never seen before. I'm going to have her back on my show soon, too. All righty. Okay, and greetings from my brother from afar. And let's see what we got here. Wow. She's doing numbers tonight. Yes. Okay. Ken says, not sure. Yes, I am. Okay. Caught me on a good night. I want to be here Wednesday too. Okay. But okay. Your numbers are May 17th. This is, I'll think of his birthday in just a moment. He was the one at the Super Bowl performance. And I just saw his performance thing the other day too. Lamar something. I don't mean to mess up his name, but here's the point. You are a earth sign. This person is a Capricorn. So first of all, this strikes me as this, that if you are an earth sign, because you're an earth sign with an earth number, okay, then he is an earth sign, but with a fire number. All right, that makes a difference. Okay, now your key numbers will always be the 8, 6, and 3. His numbers are the 1, 4, and 8. What do you have in common is the number 8. Now, just as you have numbers that are friendly to you, you have numbers that will antagonize you. And the numbers that would stress you more than anything else would be the numbers 4 and 5. That means Sundays and Wednesdays would be the more challenging days. It means the challenging months, therefore, would be the months of February, June, August, and September, more than any other time. Now, in his case, being a 1, 4, and 8, his key numbers would be the 4, no, excuse me, not the 4, the 5, and the 6. So that means that his stress days will always be on a Wednesday, just like yours, but his will be a Friday, where Friday is your day. So if you want to get on the same page, you should always make it on a Wednesday. His stress periods would always be in the months of, that would be May, June, followed by September and October. So if he has any challenges, that would be it there too. But I say this, 1s and 8s are found on the mental plane. Those are the only two numbers found on the mental or business plane. So I would say you would not only do well as a couple, but in the world of business, collaborating, you would do extremely well. Very, very well for the most part, okay? So, and Tauruses can be very stubborn and 8s can be stubborn. So I'm sure he will learn these things. But anyway, thank you. And Fire says she is Mia. Really? Zaragoza, the name of the general, Ignacio Zaragoza, the general who led the battle against France trying to take over Mexico. And the general wasn't having it, okay? And Aries, I would have told him, I don't know what Napoleon III's birthday was, but when they gave me his birthday, that is General Zaragoza, I'd have said, well, that's an Aries. He's a 6'2". His numbers are the 6, 9, and 3. Okay. And maybe they'd have picked another day. All right. And you know what? It rules the month of May, the number 6. And he was born on the 24th. That's when he won. On the 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo. That's why that became a national holiday. So I'm extremely honored. And see if you're related, Fire. You just may be. Okay. And if so, you got a lot to boast about, because no other general before or since it has done what he was able to do, which is turn back the French to avoid that part of Mexico being a satellite for the French government. And they was known then as the French Empire. Okay. All right. So anyway, okay, let me see what you said. Back this up. Okay. They had more guns and we still kicked them out of Mexico. You're exactly right. That's why I didn't want to just say hi Cinco de Mayo, but I want to add a little flavor, a little background to it, to a little nugget. And it all started as innocent conversation earlier, just before the show. And I said, let me do my research. I read and whatnot. And when I read about this general, and in the description, they said his soldiers was a ragtag bunch of guys, which means they didn't have the latest sophistication, guns, swords, whatever was used at that time in the 1800s, where Napoleon's soldiers, Napoleon III, that is, had all the top things and had more men. 3,700 men versus over 5,300 men. And he won and only lost 96 soldiers. You got to understand the significance of that. They fought all day long. He pushed them back at Fort Guadalupe, at Fort Toledo, or whatever the case is. Read it for yourself. Go to Wikipedia and read about this great general. The man was amazing and died at 33. Okay, so you got to understand the history of people. And so when I now look at Cinco de Mayo, I'm going to look at it with a whole different understanding, a whole different level of respect. I mean, I've already respected it anyway, but you know how to make these holidays a days of celebration and, you know, good times and balloons and whistles and all this other stuff. But to honor why Cinco de Mayo became Cinco de Mayo in 1862, 143 years ago today. Got to understand the significance of that. And for that, Fire, I honor you, no question. I put some bragging rights on that too, Mia, because the man was no joke. Okay. Anyway, so I thank you very much for that. So let's see. Terry, thank you very, very much. Okay. Yes. And yes. And thank you. I do really appreciate the recognition because, we all have these celebrations and they now like more commercial rather than the significance of what brought this into a celebration of this kind anyway. To honor your culture, to honor your heritage, to honor your legacy of the Mexican descent. Hey, yes, I'd walk with pride too. Okay. Be back all them soldiers too. Only lost 96 out of over 3,700 soldiers. Ragtag, as the description was given to his men. Ragtag, that means they was probably doing the best they could, but it was in their heart. That's what counts. And if we put anything in our hearts, we would do that well too. Okay. All right. Okay. So now I've got off of that. All right. Okay. I do too. Teresa says she loves how I incorporate history lessons with numbers because history is all numbers. And in fact, the more I learn numerology, the more I learn history. It's almost paradoxical. What through numerology, I learned the proper English, the 8 parts of speech. I've learned more through numerology, history, other things that are just absolutely fascinating, all because of numerology. I would encourage everybody to at least have some kind of knowledge of numerology under their belts because you can't do without it. But I like how it ties in and stuff because if we get these kinds of backgrounds, then we can appreciate each other more. We can appreciate each other's culture and things of that nature, okay? Thanks, Goldie Lee. Welcome. She's a Cancer, July 18th, I do believe. It's okay. Okay. So Ryan is a Gemini. That makes so much sense. Yes, that's communications. It rules films, writing, television, radio. He's done it all. He's got a soundtrack of Sinners. He's got, and if you go to YouTube, I didn't even want to look at them because I wanted to just stay focused on 2 men, not the symbology of the dancers and the actors and all this, that, and the other, and the genres they trying to describe this movie in. But I know the level of people of African American descent that this is an original movie. That I think there's a thing called Rotten Tomatoes where they give it. This thing got 98% review. That means it must be good. It's like, thumbs down. That's why I call it Rotten Tomatoes. But it's got 98%, and movies are sold out. They have actually booked theaters and IMAX and everything else like that. So it's not a rehash of so-and-so, an updated version of this movie from the past. It is an original script. He is the writer. That is Ryan. He is the writer, producer, and director. And the one thing I noticed too, every film he has made, the cinematographer has been a woman. So you can't tell me you can't have your business, okay? So these are the kinds of things that I give him credit for, that he's that kind of open. I understand his wife, they're strong collaborators and whatnot. They are parents of 3 children. But it shows you these are things that we need to get back to, family and stuff like that. So I'm gonna stop talking at this minute, but things like that it excites me, okay? All right, so, okay. Let's see. Yes, you better believe it. Jazz did an amazing job. I'm telling you, as busy as I was when I saw Shanna, I said, what that man doing up on the screen, okay? And then when she had and broke down his name, all those 5s, that's the sex number, okay? Among other things. In numerology, 5 is equivalent to the sex number as Scorpio is equivalent to the sex indicator in astrology, okay? So if you have a Scorpio and a 5, like Ike and Tina Turner back in the day, okay? Something else. But she was an 8 and he was a 5. So I would have told him eventually that's going to go south, which it ultimately did. Anyway, yeah, but Jazz did an amazing job. Kudos to her too. Okay. All right. So, and Jazz says, thank you very much, Quintella. Okay, Quintella. All right. Yes. Well, that's why I only have Jazz on. I mean, I don't know who else to bring on other than her. She knows what she's doing, and she's helped me in more ways than anyone would ever imagine. So I'm going to always give her prompts. Okay. Okay. So, for example, Lloyd, how I love how you incorporate this. Very much appreciated. Thanks. I must have read that and looked back. Thanks very much, Teresa. Okay. Now, this is Brina Williams. I hope I'm saying it correctly, Brina. They are July the 11th, which means they are. Now, here's the thing about interesting. As an 11, they're composed of ones which are master numbers and ruled by fire. So she would technically be a fire number, or she would be a water sign with fire numbers, technically. If she was born July the 2nd, like Thurgood Marshall, former Judge Thurgood Marshall, who's July 2nd, then yes, the water sign with a water number, but she's a water sign with two fire numbers, okay? So that means she should bring to the stage of life passion, energy, get up and go, vision, insight that most people cannot see in the present, but she can see up the road as well as in front of her. It indicates, regardless, if I break it down to its simplest form, 11, 1 plus 1 is 2. So your key numbers will therefore be the 2, the 7, and the 6. So what does that mean on the reverse side of the scale? So that means that your stress numbers will always be the 9 and the 8, which means that Tuesday, primarily, followed by Saturday, secondarily, will be your most challenging days. And all dates such as the 8th and the 9th, the 17th, the 18th, the 26th, the 27th of the month. And especially the months that would be antagonistic to you, which would therefore be from January 1st, April, and November. These would be the challenging months. But over and above that, this would be your year to make some of your dreams come true. The fact that you're in a 9 personal year, which is somewhat of a challenging number, but because you got the master number 11, which is composed of two fire numbers, and we're in a fire year period, then maybe you will not have that effect. But it does mean that you can manifest some of the things you've been wanting to for the longest, as well as put some things aside that you feel that, okay, I've outgrown this. I no longer need this, and now I need to take it to the next level. Okay, Mariah, thank you so much for your donation. She says, can you tell me about yes or no questions? During thoughts like I had, see my birthday, and I'm thinking of a question that means no, but what if I see 444? What does that mean? Does that mean protection, or does it mean yes? Okay. In the chapter of my book, my bestseller, Numbers in You, that you can get on Amazon, it's an orange book. I have 4 books on Amazon, but the Bible is the orange one. I have them in 4 different colors, so you don't even have to worry about the title. I want the orange one, but that's the one everybody should have. And I have a section in there called Numerology and Thought Reading. And here's the premise: that you think of a question, and in thinking of this question, you immediately say to yourself any 3 single-digit numbers. If those numbers add up to a odd number, like a 1 or a 3 or 7 or a 9, it simply means that yes is likely to be the answer to the question. If it adds up to an even number like a 2, 4, 6, or 8, no, it probably means that maybe not right now. So, for example, you see 444. Well, those are all even numbers, which are no, but yet it adds up to a 12. 1 plus 2 is 3, which is an odd number. Now, because the likes of Jazz Aphrodite and some of my students that I know who does this well, 12 is called the victim or the sacrifice for the plans and intrigues of others, which means yes is the answer to the question, but yet the majority of the numbers that made it up are all even numbers, which are 4s. And it means be cautious, allow for the unexpected, the sudden and out of the blue kind of situations. 4 is unpredictable, 4 is moody, 4 rules the sign of Aquarius, so it's running all through that indication. Then on the back side of it, it comes out to 12 or 3, which is Sagittarius or Pisces. And yet, the compound number 12 in the tarot is called the hangman. It's a picture symbol of a man hung upside down by his ankles, suspended. And it denotes mental suffering and anxiety of mind. I'll repeat, mental suffering and anxiety of mind, which means, in short, that if you're not careful, you wind up being the victim or the sacrifice for the plans and intrigues of others. which is in modern terms, try not to let people use you. So it simply means that if yes is the answer to the question, Mariah, it simply means yes, you can go forward with it, but it's also telling you to use a lot of caution because 4 is a cautionary number anyway. All right. And if nothing else, try not to be the victim or the sacrifice. And here's what I'm saying. People on the 12, for example, of any month, they, threes normally like to be expressive and helpful, which is good. For some reason, people born on the 12th of the month are often taken advantage of by other people. Lloyd, can you take me to the airport? And I'll just say yes without even thinking about it, okay? And then after we have the conversation, I'm saying, listen, couldn't they take the train out there? Couldn't they take the Uber or the Lyft out there? But here's where mental suffering and anxiety comes in. Because of the fact that because I committed myself to it, I would feel bad if I said, well, I really don't feel like it. I said I would, but I changed my mind. So we would rather suffer and go through mental drama. Although we don't want to do it, we still do it anyway. So that's what I'm saying to you. And as long as you understand that, so therefore you have peace of mind. So all 12 people learn how to say no first. You can always think about it. But I noticed that people born on the 12th, when they say yes, they seem very resident or reluctant about, I can't do it. Why? Because they promise. And one of the traits about threes is they love being persons of their word. That is, whether it's the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month. They like this, like taking money to the bank. They love their reputation. This is why you should never throw mud on a three's reputation, not unless you're ready to go to blows. But thank you very much for the donation. And I hope that helps you. Does that mean protection or does it mean yes? Yes, it does. But with all those 4s, I would do it with great caution, great deliberation, and I would definitely take a look before you leave attitude. And because it adds up to a 12, try not to let people, you got to make sure that like when they discussing or doing this, your attitude is, okay, what am I getting out of this? Okay. I think that'll help you. But thank you. All right. This is Sincere Smith. And they are born on November 14th. So they would be a Scorpio 5 person. So their key numbers technically are the 5, the 9, and the 6. However, if I ask what numbers would stress them most, which very few people ask me, it would be primarily the 3, then next the 8, then next to 2. So what does that mean? That means your stress days will be on a Thursday first, a Thursday, a Monday, and a Saturday. Actually, it's Thursday, Saturday, and Monday. That would be the order. So although the calendar would say Monday, Thursday, Saturday, your primary, if let's say I was a person that was like one of those kind of like demonic kind of astrologers and I didn't like you and all that stuff, I said, man, you should go on a Thursday. Why? Because that's your worst day. I would never have you do anything major on a Thursday, except take it easy or download my app, a Star 8, and see if it's a red star day or a green star day. That's the only thing that would offset a Thursday, unless one of your numbers, like the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd, fell on an opposition day, because the date will always overrule the day. All right. So what does that mean in terms of the months? Well, that means that the month of January, followed by March, followed by December, would be very problematic to you, as well as, so it's the 5, 8, and January. Yeah, because that's the 8, 6, 8. Excuse me. Let me start all over again. It's the 3. So I got it. It's January, March, followed by December. And those would be problematic days for you, as well as July, of course, which is ruled by Tuesday. But anyway, this is going to be a year for you to find yourself. You're in a 7-cycle year, which is a year to do a lot of soul searching. And Sakitra, Carol, I do believe you are a air sign with a fire number. And what it simply means is your best numbers are always the 3, 6, and 9. That's the trilogy. But on the reverse side of it, it means your stress numbers will be the 5 and the 4, which means Wednesdays and Sundays will be more your challenging days, and especially during the period of February, June, August, and September. Now, when I say that, that may have been the day you had a loss, the day you lost your job, the day you broke up with somebody, something. If you have, because we all have bump in the roads, okay? And so This was not those are not your times. But your best numbers are always the 3, 6, and 9, which is the artistic creative chord. But on the other side, again, your challenging numbers would be the 5 primarily and the 4. 5 rules, because each number rules a month. So 5 rules June and September respectively. And the number 4 rules February and August. So it's February, June, August, and September. That'll be your bump in the road. And it's not that you can't get through those months. It's not that you got to stick your head in the sand. It just simply means that whatever you're doing during those months, you got to make sure you do things with care. So I will say, well, Wednesday is one of your main stress days, but if it's a Wednesday the 3rd, Wednesday the 6th, Wednesday the 9th, where one of your numbers will offset the energy of that day, it's okay. But I would still use a little caution. All right, so C is November the 3rd. His numbers are the 3, 6, and 9. Actually, it's the same. Actually, your numbers are 3, 9, and 6. Her numbers are the 3, 6, and 9. That is Katricia Carroll. So yours would go in the order. So that would mean that Wednesday, followed by Monday, followed by Sunday would be your stress days. That's what it means. And it happens to be, you happen to be in a 5 personal year this year, which would be somewhat of a challenging number. But let me explain. The reason why is 5s and 3s are so much alike. They're friendly, they're personable, they're popular, they're very artistic, they know how to get along with the crowd and stuff like that. Very outgoing, but they both suffer with the nerves. One is emotional upsets and one is nervous tension. So if they're both having a bad day at the same time, it's really a bad day. So I've seen 5s and 3s get along very well. They're very popular. They everywhere they go, there's somebody who asks about the other person. But in this case, you should be aware that nonetheless, that would still be one of your stress numbers, which is the Wednesday and Sunday. No, Wednesday and Monday, excuse me. All righty. And so that means your stress months would be on June, July, and September. All righty. So this is Shonda, February the 4th. Your numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. Your air sign with an air number, but your major opposition numbers are the 6 and the 8, which means Fridays and Saturdays. So this may explain, Shonda, if some of your weekends, like, it ain't all that. Somebody's having a great time, but you ain't feeling the weekend. That's because first of all, 6 rules Friday, 8 rules Saturday. Okay. And so therefore, unless it, unless it is a Saturday the 4th, a Friday the 4th, something like that to offset it. Other than that, it also would mean that your stress months would always be in January, May, and October. These would be your challenging months. Not that I'm looking for any challenges, but every day isn't 100%. Like the sun did not come out with my plans today, okay? That's for sure. But what you gonna do? You got to roll with it and you make the best that you can of the situation, all right? But it wasn't the way I planned this day, but in the blessing of it, everything worked out because I may have not got into Cinco de Mayo, which is an honorable recognition for the Mexican culture and their heritage. So it turned out to be a blessing for me, and I learned a lot. And I also met Miss Zaragoza, one of the relatives of that famous general that won back in 1832 on May the 5th, 143 years ago. That's amazing to me. I'm honored to see this show and to know she's got that lineage back to her ancestors like that. I'm very fortunate. Okay, so it tells me you're a little sensitive. This year, you are in a 6 personal year, which is one of your major opposition numbers. Now, when I say it, it don't mean like, oh man, I'm not talking about that. It's just exercising a degree of caution. The major opposition number is to the 6. So what does it mean? 6 rules: love, marriage, family, separation, divorce, births, pregnancies, moving into a home, moving out of a home, going back to school, making adjustments, compensation, advisory, etc., etc. So it simply means that one of those areas may be a little bit more challenged. So try to establish as much harmony this year as much as you can. Try, because, Aquarius love to be weird anyway sometimes. 4s like to be weird, and since you are an Aquarius 4 person anyway, so people say, Shonda, you kind of weird. Don't take it personal. That's really the genius in you that people don't recognize at this point. But what I'm saying is that because of that, Be mindful of your health, because 6 is a health energy. Take in more sunlight, take in more fresh air, and just get out and breathe the fresh air, and you'll be surprised. And try to be as pleasant as possible. But in a 6 cycle, it does mean try to be a person of your word. Don't say something, then emotionally you ain't feeling it. If you say you're going to do it this year anyway, while you're in the 6th year. Okay. This is fire, Miss, as we call it, Miss Zaragoza. I hope I'm saying the name, pronouncing it correctly. I remember the birthdays forever, but the name, but Zaragoza. Ignacio Zaragoza. The more I say his name, the more I'll get it. Ignacio Zaragoza, the famous general that won the Battle of Puebla on May the 5th of 1862, 143 years ago. Okay, see that? But see, that's how I learned. And this is all with numerology. So when I call these birthdays, I ain't trying to show off and stuff like that. That's how my brain works. I've been doing this that long. So I can recall birthdays, recall personalities, recall events. But this is what the side effects, or the beautiful side effects that numerology has done. It's taught me to be attentive to history. Okay. So anyway, your numbers, you are an air sign with a fire number. Now here's the paradox, because the opposition number to the 3 is the 5. That means Virgo and Gemini. So your number is exactly in opposition to where you should be. But on the sex side, this is Josephine Baker's birthday, George W. Bush, the elder's birthday, a couple of them. So I can't take away the 5. So what I'll do is I'll say your key numbers will be the 3, the 5, and the 6. So what I would have to say, therefore, your stress numbers would be the 4 and the 8, which is Sunday and Saturday. And those are the days that have you take it easy, especially during the months of January, February, which is normally friendly to Gemini, and August as well. And that's how we do it. But this is your year to shine. This is your year to manifest the things you've been wanting to do. This is the year to make your dreams come true, as well as cut your losses. But your key numbers, by the way, are always the 3, the 6, and the 5. I always put, so whenever I don't put the 3 and the 5 right next to each other, I put the 6, because 6 gets along very well with the 3, and 6 gets along very well with the 5. So 6 is the buffer between your 3 and 5 energy. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Anyway, LNW, this is your, I got to watch my time too and see. Okay. You are a earth sign, a water sign with an earth number. So your numbers are simple, which is the 6, the 2, and the 7. Now, what does that mean? That means your stressful days, more than any other, is always on other. I should start with the stressful numbers are the 4, the 8, and the 9. Okay. The 4 goes against the 6, but the 8 and 9 goes against the sign of Cancer. So therefore, knowing that, I know that your stress period of the year, your stress day of all of them will always be on a Sunday, late Saturday night into Sunday, late Friday into Saturday, and late Sunday into Monday. So actually, whether it is a a Saturday or Sunday or Monday, these are the days I would take it easy, unless it is Sunday the 6th. You know what I'm saying? Little things like that to kind of help you go. I shouldn't say Monday, because Monday is one of your best days. I meant to say Sunday first, Saturday, and Tuesday. Those are your stress days. I stand corrected. So, but those days can work based upon if it's Tuesday the 6th, Saturday the 6th, Sunday the 6th, or something like that. But don't forget the rule of the thumb, at least from my personal observation of doing this for decades, is the date will always overrule the day. That's how I form my calendar, a Star 8 app. So when you see those stars, it's based upon your date first. And I don't care whether you have a stress day as a rule, but if you got a green star day on that date that's stressful, more than likely you'll do better. And you'll say, well, Lloyd says, well, this is supposed to be my stress day, but I'm smoking. Yeah, because you might have a double green star day on that so-called off day. That's how it works. That's how I came up with the app in the first place. Everybody should download it. A Star 8, ASTAR 8, or go to astar8.com. Okay, but this year too, see, and here's the thing, LNW, you happen to be in a 4 personal year. What do I mean? I took the month and day you were born, July the 6th, added to 2025, which is a 9. It adds up to a 4, which is one of your major stress numbers. You don't go hide. You don't have a pity party. You don't stick your head in the sand. You don't be in denial. What it is understanding the nature of each cycle and what it brings. 4 is a cycle about being more organized, being more structured, having a game plan, building a building block, having a blueprint, having some sense of where you're going from point A to point B. Normally 6s does that anyway. And there are a couple of things that 6s and 4s have in common, which is being slow. You rush everybody out the door and you're the last one to leave yourself. But basically, it ain't that you can't get through this, but if you find, and especially back in April, because you were in a 4-year, and then you went through a 8-month for April. So I know that late February, if late March into April was testing, that kind of makes sense to me. But if you had my app, A Star 8, that you can download on Apple or Android, not that I'm trying to push it, but I'm telling you why I developed the app in the first place, so people can know how to pick and choose their battles. That's all. No more, no less. Okay. So, but other than that, though, your key numbers are always the 6, 2, and 7, and Fridays first, and followed by Mondays are always your best days. Okay. Now here we have just the opposite. We have a fire sign with a fire number. So I know right away that the stress numbers to this one will always be the number 2 first, followed by the number 6 and the number 8. Therefore, 2 rules Monday, 6 rules Friday, 8 rules Saturday. Therefore, these are not your best days for any of these actions unless it is Monday the 20, a Monday a 9, or a Friday on a 9, or a Saturday on a 9. Again, the key is, despite the stressful days, determine whether one of your key numbers is falling on one of those off dates that will offset it. And it also tells me this year, this is the year of the 9. You're born on the 27th, which is a 9, which is called the royal scepter, which means you succeed as a result of your productive intellect, which means you're a pretty smart cookie, whether male or female. And with that being the case, you happen to be in a 7 personal year as well, which is a year to find your spiritual center, meditate, go back to church, go get a reading, go get counseling, whatever. But try to go somewhere where there's the sand, the sea, and the sun to hear yourself think, to get away from all the drama, all the nonsense, and be left alone. Okay? So that's what I'm seeing. And thank you very, very much. So since my time is going, let me do something right quick. I want to make sure I don't overmiss anybody. Okay, I do see this person here that I'm going to acknowledge. Okay. Candy 808, born. First of all, thank you so much for the donation. I do. And again, my rule is, because my show isn't primarily predicated and determined on donations, sometime I may miss you. I might, only after the show is over and I look at the rest of the comments, I see somebody has left something and they kind of feel slighted. Please don't. It is nothing deliberate. I don't operate like that. And so for those of you who think like that, my rule is this. If I read you, then you donate. But until I read you, for those of you who are into your feelings like that, don't donate a dime, much less a penny, until I read you. But in this case, I do want to thank you. May 2nd. All right. This is interesting because you happen to be a earth sign with a water number. So that's interesting. Your key numbers, first of all, the 2, 7, and 6. Your stress number is primarily the number 9 first, which is Tuesday. The second one is the number 4, which is Sunday. And the third one is an 8, which is Saturday. Therefore, Tuesday, Sunday, Saturday would normally be your challenging days. I would not put all my eggs in one basket on those days unless one of your dates is offsetting it. Okay. It also indicates that you have a very sensitive soul, very perceptive. Water and earth combinations go very well. And it also tells me you're very psychic and intuitive to a very large degree. And it also tells me this year you're in the year that governs the law of attraction. And happy belated birthday. What's today? The 5th, 3 days ago. Okay. I believe that was on a Friday. Yes, it was. And it should have been a great day for you. It should have been a triple green star day for you. Why do I say that? May is one of your months. That gets a star. Friday is one of your days. That gets a star. And 2 is one of your numbers. I'm willing to bet you, if you have my app, a star 8, and downloaded it, and by the way, you can also go back in time and look, you'll see that on your birthday, it was a triple green star day. I would expect you to have a great day that day. In other words, just feeling good, got all the right connections, maybe went out, just had a nice time. You know, you ain't got to be partying like a bandito. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that it should have flowed very nice for you, because in my mind, because I created this calendar, that this Friday was a triple star day for you. Green. It was like, go. I wouldn't even told you to play a lottery, because if you don't get a lottery, you might want to call me. But the point is that you would have had more benefits in your behalf than otherwise. That's all. Okay. By the way, your key numbers again are the 2, 7, and 6, but your stress numbers are the 9, 4, and 8. Okay. So let me see. Let me go. I just want to make sure I don't overskip nobody. Okay. See, I see a couple of people. Let me go to the bottom and then work back a second. Okay. Wow. Thanks for the donations, folks. I really appreciate this. Okay. I'm going to go all the way to the end. I'm going to work backwards. Second. Fire. And this is for Miss Mia, MIA, if memory serves me correct, my dear. And it is Zaragoza. I hope I'm saying it out of respect for you and your family and your ancestors, Zaragoza. All righty. And I thank you very, very much for the donation. Yes, and much respect to you, your family, and especially your ancestors. Okay. Whoever that man was, and imagine he won that at 33 years old. A young cat, man, going against a powerful French empire. That's what it was referred to, not a nation, an empire. And that refers to having, see, I get carried away, but let me thank you very much for the donation, dear. Much appreciated. Okay. Now let me do this a second. Okay, let me just go back a little bit. And for those, you know, if I got some time, I'll do this, but also thank you, Kyrie. I thank you, January the 7th. Thank you in advance. Will this be posted? Yes, in fact, you can see it on replay about 5 minutes after the show. But you are a Capricorn 7, so you're an earth sign with a water number. So your numbers are the 7, the 2, and the 8. So that means your opposition numbers would be the 4 and the 3. Although 4 is interchangeable, but 4 goes against the 8, and 5 goes against the 8 as well. So therefore, Sundays and Wednesdays are more your challenging days, and you'll find that the months of February, June, August, and September more challenging to you. But this year's your power year. You're in an 8 cycle. So since 8 is one of your main numbers, this is your year to really kick it, to take it to the next level, to go where no person has gone before in terms of your achievements, your recognitions, your goals, your objectives, your energies, and your intentions. You should do very well. And this is a good time to reconnect with your past. But your key numbers are the 7, 2, and 8. Okay. And Mondays and Saturdays are your best days. I got very little time left, just a little bit. But for those of you, I'll be back Wednesday. I'm going to do this on Wednesday. Oh, and by the way, and I'm going to say it now in case I forget, but I hope not, that this month, this Sunday, the 11th, is Mother's Day. So for all you mothers and mothers to be, let me be one of the first ones out the gate to wish you happy Mother's Day. Okay, so this is Jay McFoley TV. They are March 21st, which is the very first day of Aries or springtime. So your numbers normally are the 3, 6, and 9, which means your stress numbers are the 5, the 4, and the 2. So that means that Wednesday is stressful, Sunday is stressful, and Monday is stressful. So it's Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. Those are the days that will give you problems if you're not careful. But this is a good year for you, health-wise, relationship-wise, environment, job-wise, and things like that. And I would say back in April, right after your birthday, you should have found yourself in a new position with either new opportunities, new directions, and things of that nature too. But I do thank you. And your key numbers, by the way, again, are the 3, 9, and 6. And here's one of my sponsors. Hi, Numerology. Okay, so let's see. Thank you, Kendrick Lamar. Thank you. I knew there was a Lamar up in there. Thank you very much. I got so many birthdays in my head. Okay. I think I did Jay McFoley. Is this another one, Jay? Okay. You made an error evidently because you got 321. Now you got 2 221. If so, your numbers would therefore be a Pisces, which is 3, 6, and 9. And if you got this one, it'd be 3, 6, and 9. So the numbers will still be the same. 5 and 4 would be your challenging energies. But thank you so much for the double donation. And this is Mariah, who is May 15th, whose birthday is falling on a Thursday. And Thursday is one of your best days because your key numbers are the 6, the 3, and the 9. And your stress numbers are always the 4 primarily, and the 1 to a degree. And so that means Sundays and February's and August's are normally challenging to you. How does negative numbers work or favorable days? Okay, let's say it's a Friday, like it was on Friday the 3rd, because your numbers are the 3, 6, 3, and 9, right? So with that being the case, if you had a, let's say for all purposes, Sunday is one of your main stress days, right? However, if it's Sunday the 6th, Sunday the 15th, 1 plus 5 is 6, Sunday the 24th, that day won't be as bad as if it was Sunday the 4th, Sunday the 13th, Sunday the 22nd, or Sunday the 31st, okay? Because that puts a double stress on that day for you, where the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th falling on that so-called stress day would take a lot of stress off that day. As they say, it takes the edge off of things, okay? But your numbers are always the 6, the 3, and the 9. Tells me you have great taste. Almost everything you like, you don't have the money to match it, but it's okay. I understand it very, very well. But thank you very much for the donations. I think that is about it as I wrap this up. For those of you, please, okay, ho. Yep, I did read May 2nd. Okay, so I've read everybody. I am out of time. I have to prepare for my palmistry class tomorrow. And today took a lot of my time that I did not expect. So I have to get ready for that. But on Wednesday, I'll be back and I'll do a part 2 of your best, but more emphasis on your stress. And for those of you who, please, if you don't mind, all you have to do is just go to astar8.com, astar8.com, and click on the app, and you can download it, whether you are for Android or whether you have an iPhone. It is pretty much to my satisfaction now, where I think I can really promote it the way I'd like to. But have this. This will save you a lot of wear and tear. The calendar is designed to help you pick and choose your battles in life. It's just that simple. So to enjoy those better days when they come, and to enjoy those not so days that you are prepared, like a rainy day, you don't go out without an umbrella unless you want to get drenched. So be that as it may, I do want to thank all my sponsors, which is U-Juice by my brother Uchenna in Trinidad, Tobago, that makes an excellent, refreshing drink. It's going to be great during the summer months, believe me, with its nice chill on it. Also, I want to thank Monique of Nicholas, Brooklyn, for over 50 years of being in business. She has the best shop at 1396 Fulton Street. You got to go there. Don't take my word. Go there, tell her Lloyd sent you, and I dare you to come out of there with something, without something. I don't think you can do it. Also want to thank Ms. Kimberly for Manifest on Purpose, and also a new division that she's brought to her asset column, which is about starting businesses. So those who want to start businesses, you get a free consultation, absolutely free. Just reach out to her at kimberly.com. It's at the bottom of her banner. Did you see there? I'll tell you heard it on Live with Lloyd. Schedule a free consultation. Don't cost you any money, but it may save you a lot of wear and tear as you go forth for those that are really seriously and business minded. Also, Queen B, at numeralanalytics.biz. You should go. Numbers matter more than you know. And she is excellent at what she does. And I do want to thank her. And last but not least, also Jazz Aphrodite. You have less than 24 hours to get it together. All right. So please, without hesitation, you go to her website, jazzaphrodite.com, and just enroll. It's 6 weeks from 7 to 9. She is one of the most adept in whatever she does, and I would encourage you to take advantage. And on this day, 143 years ago, I do honor this famous General Ignacio Zaragoza, who made the 5th of December a national holiday when he fought back the French trying to take their land to make it a satellite nation, okay? People need to leave enough alone, you would think, okay? Anyway, so before I go, please sign up for the free monthly newsletter. It's just out, okay? It came out on the 1st. Actually, it was out the day before the 1st. And so you can listen to it. I have a whole new format of how it's presented. So hopefully some people have commented that they like it better. It's not all crunched together, whatever that means, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. For those of you who don't want to read it, but want to hear the session, it's aired with Miss Kimberly and I. Just go to Kimberly, KIMBALEY.com, and you can see the interview for the May forecast. All right. So I do want to thank you all very, very much. All have a nice day. I want to thank my moderator who is most helpful to me today. Bless her soul. And all of you, please take care of yourselves. I mean it sincerely. And I do honor and respect every single one of you. And that's all I can say. All of you have a nice day, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Okay.